They say love is blind, but sometimes it's not love that's blind, it's us, the ones watching from the sidelines, mistaking manipulation for affection. My name is Leela Devi, and I'm 62 years old. I've lived in this house for nearly 40 years. My husband built it with his hands brick by brick, one paycheck at a time. After he passed, this house became my temple, my memory box, and my world. I raised my son Arav here. We weren't rich, but we were content. That was before she came. Her name is Kavya. I first met Kavya at the hospital. Arav had been in a minor road accident, and she was his nurse. She had a soft voice, kind eyes, and a polite smile. Or at least, that's what I thought then. Soon, Arav began mentioning her in every conversation. Kavya said I should exercise more. Kavya thinks I should go for that promotion. Kavya makes the best dal. 3 months later, they were married. I was surprised. Arav had never shown much interest in settling down before. When I asked him about the sudden marriage, he brushed it off. When you know, he said. I wanted to be happy for him. I welcomed her with open arms, cooked her favorite dishes, and even gave them the master bedroom. At first, Kavya acted like the perfect daughter-in-law. She touched my feet every morning, helped me in the kitchen, and even called me Ma with a smile. I remember thinking how lucky Arav was to have found someone so respectful. But that was the beginning of the act. 3 months into the marriage, the changes began. It started subtly. She'd suggest that I should rest more and not worry about the house. Then she'd accidentally forget to cook my meals. She stopped joining me for evening prayers, claiming she was tired from work. Slowly, she began rearranging the house, throwing out old furniture, repainting rooms, and even replacing photographs on the walls. My husband's photo vanished from the living room one day. I found it stuffed in a drawer. When I confronted her, she smiled sweetly and said, "Oh, I thought it didn't match the new aesthetic." The final straw came 6 months later when Arav asked me to sign some papers. "It's just for legal safety, Ma," he said. "The house is already in your name, but we want to ensure things are smooth in case anything happens." I trusted my son. I signed without reading. A week later, I received a letter from the municipality. The house had officially been transferred to Arav's name. I was stunned. When I confronted him, he looked away. It was Kavya who answered, her eyes colder than I'd ever seen. "You're getting older, Ma. Arav and I are just planning for the future. You'll always have a place here if you cooperate." Her words echoed like a slap. If I cooperate, that night, I cried alone in my room. My son wouldn't look me in the eye. Kavya walked around the house like she owned it because now, she did. Over the next few weeks, the atmosphere grew tense. She criticized everything I did, from the way I folded clothes to the food I cooked. Arav stayed silent. Kavya even invited her parents to stay for a few days that turned into a permanent visit. My kitchen was no longer mine. My home, no longer my sanctuary. One evening, I overheard them talking in the dining room. "She'll move out eventually," Kavya said. "Once she realizes she's not in control anymore. Do we have to push her?" Arav asked, sounding unsure. "She's old. She'll leave. Or we'll make her." I couldn't believe it. My own son, my blood. But something inside me hardened that night. Maybe it was age, or maybe it was years of being quiet. But I decided I wouldn't be pushed out of the house I helped build, not without a fight. The next morning, I called an old friend, Advocate Mara. He had handled my husband's affairs long ago. I explained everything. He asked me to come to his office immediately with any documents I had left. Fortunately, I had one last card to play. Though I had signed the transfer, I had a copy of my husband's will. It clearly stated the house was mine for life and could not be sold or transferred without my consent after his death. Mr. Mara took the case immediately. What followed was a month of legal notices, heated arguments, and crying fits from Kavya. Arav begged me to drop it. "Why are you doing this, Ma?" I looked him straight in the eye. "No, Arav, the question is, why did you do this?" He had no answer. In court, Kavya tried to argue that I had given the house freely. But the judge reviewed the original will, the manipulation tactics, and the rapid timeline. The ruling was swift. The transfer was declared invalid. The house remained mine. Kavya left the courtroom in silence. Arav followed her. That night, they packed their bags. He didn't say goodbye. Today, the house is quiet again. The photos are back on the walls. My husband's picture watches over me from the living room. The kitchen smells of my spices, not her perfumes. There's peace, but there's also sadness. I lost my son in a legal battle I never wanted, but I gained something more important: dignity. They say age weakens you, that you become dependent, fragile, soft. But I learned something different. I learned that no matter how old you are, you have a voice. And if you fight for what's right, no one, not even your own flesh and blood, can take away what you've earned. I am Leela Devi, and this is still my house. If you like a more casual or dramatic version, let me know your style.